Hey everyone, Jeffrey here, and in this video I'm going to show you what you can do when you're struggling with intimacy in your relationship. And for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Jeffrey, and my mission is to really empower you with the right knowledge and the right skills to help you turn your relationship around by yourself. And so if your partner wants nothing to do with fixing the relationship right now, and you're kind of battling this battle by yourself, that's okay, because when you change your approach, you can really bring about the change in the whole relationship as well. Because it just takes one person to break a negative cycle and one person to perpetuate a more positive cycle. And so if you want to empower yourself to really learn the skills and knowledge to bring about that change, then you want to subscribe to this channel and click that bell button to be notified when I post new videos 5 days every single week. Now, when it comes to intimacy issues in a relationship, that's a very complex topic that can have a lot of reasons. So we're not going to go through everything here, but I'm going to give you some ideas of the most common reasons that I see why couples have intimacy issues in their relationship. And I'm not going to talk about what people usually talk about, which is the masculine or feminine polarity. But if you want me to make a video on that, just leave a comment below and I'll definitely make a video on that if you're interested. And before we get into the meat of this whole thing, I just want to caution that, the biggest mistake that people make when trying to rescue their relationship from a lack of intimacy is they try to force intimacy or sex to happen. And the thing about intimacy and sex that you need to understand is that it's a very highly emotional thing. So in order for a relationship to have a really good sex life, to have a really good sexual passion, you have to let it come. You have to let those feelings come, and you can't force it. If you force someone to have sex, then you're making sex into more and more of an obligation, and that will actually destroy the desire for sex in the long run. So in order for us to revive sexual passion and revive intimacy, we need to do the right things, create the right culture to bring back those emotions organically and naturally and never force things to happen. And once we understand that, then let's get into the 7 core reasons why sexual intimacy dies. And I'll tell you a little bit about what you can do to start fixing that. So number 1 is that there's too many conflicts in the relationship. So if you're arguing very often, then each of those arguments are going to create a lot of emotional baggage, a lot of pent up stuff, a lot of stuff to get swept under the rug. And all that bitterness, all that pent up stuff will make it very difficult for us to emotionally want sex or to desire sex because we're so weighed down by all this emotional baggage. And so ask yourself right now, do you argue a lot? Or when you do argue, even though it's not so often, are those arguments very intense? And if they are, then you need to fix that issue first before fixing the intimacy issues, because most likely the intimacy issues is caused by all those conflicts and arguments happening too many times. And if you want to stop these arguments, then I've made a video for you outlining exactly how you can begin, how you can progress, and how you can end conversations in a way that never ever leads to arguments. So if you want to watch that video, then I suggest you click the link above my head to make sure that you understand the skills on how to conduct a conversation that never ever leads to an argument. And the second reason why intimacy dies is that you haven't been able to coach each other on what good sex actually means for either of you. And sex and intimacy is a very personal thing, and each of us kind of desire different things in sex and intimacy. And often when couples get together and they don't have very good communication skills, then sex doesn't become something enjoyable because we're doing what we want to do. We're doing what we think is good instead of doing what our partner thinks is good and enjoyable. And slowly, if you keep doing this, then the ability to have good sex really dies. And sex doesn't become this enjoyable and blissful experience, but it becomes more about something that we have to force ourselves to enjoy. And that's never fun. And that's never going to be sustainable in a long-term relationship. And often couples fail to communicate openly about what they want in sex because they haven't created what I call emotional safety or psychological safety. So they don't feel safe to really express what they truly want in the relationship, what they're truly thinking in the relationship. But once you can create this sense of safety, then the communication can be more open. Not just during sex, not just during moments of intimacy, but really in the whole relationship as well. So if you're having communication issues, or if you don't feel free to express yourself, to express your emotions, your thoughts fully in the relationship, even the most harsh ones, even the most embarrassing ones, then you need to work on building that emotional and psychological safety first. And if that sounds very foreign to you, if you have no idea what I'm talking about here, then you want to access my 4-day training series. And that 4-day training series will teach you exactly how you can create the foundations of your relationship, which are emotional safety and psychological safety. So if you think this is the reason why your sexual intimacy is dying, then I would suggest you get that resource. and really learn the skills to create this culture where communicating openly and honestly will become a lot more natural in your relationship. And number 3 is that sex has become a chore for your relationship. We all live very busy lives. We work long hours, we might have children, we might have other errands to do, and by the time we get to the act of sex itself, or the time we get together for some intimacy or some romance, we're both very, very tired. But often what happens is we make sex into such a chore, such a process for us. There's the whole building up process, there's the whole seduction process, there's the whole foreplay process, and there's a whole thing that we need to do to make sex happen, to make sex enjoyable for both of us. And over time, if you keep thinking about sex that way, then it can become a lot like a chore. And if that's the case, then you need to do 2 things. One is change your paradigm about sex, change your mindset about sex. Sex is supposed to be play. Sex doesn't have to be this whole process all the time. It's almost like when you're watching TV or playing board games or just hanging out with your friends. There's no process there. There's no need for you to build up to anything. It's just sex. It's just play. And you want to see sex as more like play like that. And so to create this, the second thing is to create this, you can explore some less energetic methods to sex. So for example, this might sound weird to a lot of you, but this really works for many of my clients, is when sex has become a chore like this, it helps to remove that process altogether. So for example, you could try masturbating in front of each other. So instead of making sex this process, just make it something enjoyable, something very effortless. So explore less energetic ways of sex. It doesn't have to be this heated thing all the time, just something simple, something easy would do. And there's a lot of things you can do here, a lot of ideas that I can give, but if you want me to make a video on this, just leave a comment below and I'll be happy to dive into this topic a lot deeper in another video. And number 4 is that the sexual buildup, the sexual tension is failing. So in the beginning of the relationship, what happens is we think about sex a lot. We fantasize our partner, we may send flirtatious texts here and there, and we do a lot of things to flirt throughout the day and to build up that tension within ourselves by fantasizing about our partner, but also showing our partner our fantasies and acting out those fantasies as well. But in the long-term relationship, that really goes away, and we stop flirting, and we stop building that sexual tension like we were in the beginning. And what you want to do here is to really create what I call habitual connection rituals. And these are the daily habits, the daily rituals that you have that really can build up a sexual tension throughout the day. So for example, when you wake up in the morning, take just 5 minutes to really appreciate your partner. Really look at your partner, hug your partner, cuddle with your partner, and really tell them how much you love them, and really just embrace the positive things you know about each other. And leaving each other love notes, leaving each other love texts can really help here. And just the small moments of habitually saying something nice, saying something sexy, saying something seductive to your partner is really going to help. This stuff takes 2 to 5 minutes a day, but these 2 to 5 minutes can really, really make a difference in your relationship. Another thing you can do here is to schedule weekly dates as well. So I know life gets in the way and we get really busy in life, but it really helps to set a time when you're just having a date and where you both are focused on just having fun and really spending time with each other and really embracing each other and really looking at each other in that loving way that you were in the beginning. Try to get out of your pattern, go to somewhere new, go to somewhere exciting, and really experience that exciting and novel thing together like you are on your first date again. But it helps to create these small little habits every single day and every single week where you can just simply remind your partner that, hey, I'm thinking about you and I really care about you and I really love you. And the small things that really remind you how great your partner is and how great this relationship is. The small things can really, really make a difference over the long haul. So for my relationship, for example, we work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and there's not a lot of time for us to spend time together during the week. But we schedule the small moments in a day where we give love notes to each other, give encouraging texts, love texts, and texts that tell each other like, hey, I think you're very sexy, or I think you're very attractive, whatever it is. You look good in this outfit today. And then we also schedule the weekly dates where in those weekly dates, we don't talk about work, we don't talk about anything serious. We simply want to have fun and really just enjoy each other's presence like it was the first date again. And reason number 5 why your intimacy is dying is that you're not paying attention too much to foreplay. And so foreplay is crucial because when we have this busy life, we're in this mode in our brain where we're not in a very sexy mode. We're not in a mode where we want to be romantic, we want to be sexual, and so on. And so when you begin each sexual interaction with foreplay, then that can really help us cut through and switch the modes in our brain and really get us to feel aroused. And this is true for women or men. We often think that men don't need any foreplay or any build up to sex, but when we live our busy lives like that, we really do need some build up to the sex. We really need something to catalyze that desire for sex. So for me, for example, we work long hours a day, and my partner is always saying that she's tired. But once I kind of start the act of foreplay and I touch different parts of our body and I start to build up that sexual tension and sexual pleasure, all that tiredness goes away. And she suddenly has this desire to have sex again. And so when your partner tells you that they're tired, they're not in the mood for sex, they're not trying to shut you down there. They're just trying to tell you that that's how they feel in that exact moment. But when you can really master the art of foreplay, then you will realize that my partner might feel tired 5 minutes ago, but you can actually change her mode of thinking and actually get her to want sex, to desire sex, and to be in the mood for sex if you get the foreplay right. And again, foreplay is a topic for a whole other video, but if you want me to make that video, then leave a comment below and let me know you're interested in that video. The number 6 is that you're just in a very different season of your life. So often when we think about our sexual life today, when we feel really disappointed about our sexual intimacy today, we often compare it to what it was like in the beginning. But life might have changed. You might have kids now. You might have a different job. You might be starting a new business. And so this whole different season of life has really made it difficult for you to want to be in the mood for sex like you were in the beginning. Not because you're not loving each other, but because you're simply in a different season of life where your focus might be on different things, and you might be having all your time and energy sucked into different things other than the relationship. And for this one, again, it really helps to create habitual connection rituals. It's all about habits. And so for us, for example, when we first met, we both had normal jobs, normal corporate jobs, and we had a lot of time to spend together. And our sex life was very rich. It was very well alive. But then we started a business, and now we have to work day in, day out, and work never stops. And during these moments, the thing that really helped us was, once again, those rituals of what we do every single day, the small things we do every single day, of leaving love notes, of cuddling each other when we wake up, cuddling each other when we go to bed, and the weekly dates that we have. Those has really helped us create space for sex to happen, for seduction to happen, for foreplay to happen, and all these things to build up to the act of sex and intimacy itself. So if you haven't built these habits yet, then I suggest you start building these habits, just small things every day. 2 to 5 minutes every day. What are the small things you can do? Whether it's leaving love notes, whether it's just giving sexy texts to each other. Just small things you can do to really start building up that sexual tension and reminding your partner that, hey, I care about you, I'm thinking about you, and I do find you attractive. And the last issue here is we have some bodily issues. So it could be some hormones, it could be something wrong with the testosterone levels, estrogen levels, and so on. But notice here that the number 7, the bodily issues, is really last. So most people think that when they have sexual issues, the first thing they go to is to assign it to some bodily issues. They have something wrong with their hormones, they have some health issues that's preventing them from being in the mood. But usually when you pay attention to all 6, you'll realize that you don't have actually any bodily issues, that whatever sexual intimacy you have can be solved in just paying attention to these small things and knowing the reasons why those intimacy issues happen and understanding the small things that you can do to really fix that. So I hope that video brought some clarity to you. I know it didn't answer all your questions, but I just wanted to give you some ideas of, in my practice, the 7 most common reasons why sexual intimacy dies, and the small things you can do to change your mindset, to change the way you approach sex that can really help this issue. But again, in my experience of the 7, the first 2 is always the most common. So the first 2 are having too many conflicts and not being able to have that openness to really coach each other on how to have better sex together. And so if you're struggling with that, if you're struggling with too many conflicts or not being able to being open and not being able to openly coach each other like that, then you want to download my 4-day training series on how to create emotional safety and psychological safety so you can remove these arguments for good, and also how you can create this openness, this culture of openness where you can talk about anything in your relationship, not just the sexual part, but any conflicts that you have, to resolve any conflicts that you have. And if you want access to that training series, then the link is in the description box below this video. And if you have other questions or other concerns about your relationship that are not addressed in this video, then you also want to join our secret Facebook group where you can post your questions and actually get expert advice on your questions. And the link to that is also below this video. And so if you found this video helpful, then give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this one. And I'd love to hear from you here. What other sexual issues or intimacy issues that you're facing that are not addressed in this video right here? And if you leave a comment below, I'll respond to it as soon as possible. Or if it's a really good question, then I'll try to make a new video out of your question in the future. But for now, thanks for watching this video, and remember that you have the power to transform your relationship by yourself. And so never underestimate your own power here. But for now, I will see you in the next video.